Hello, how are you all? Welcome to your channel. Mary Tajitos, I am Mary, and it's a pleasure for me to share with you a new tutorial for today's class. I'm bringing you this beautiful bag, a trendy design that has been requested a lot on all my social media. And today, with lots of love, I wanted to share the step-by-step process. It's adapted to a smaller version, so you can also make it with other materials. It's a beautiful bag, very detailed, made with a combination of stitches, such as single crochet and puff stitch. Look how beautiful this braid turns out. Here, I'm going to explain step by step how you should do the whole process. I'm happy to share this process with you. I fell in love with every detail. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too, and put it into practice. If that's the case, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. This motivates me to keep sharing a new project with you every week. Now, let's continue with the list of materials, followed by the step-by-step instructions. If you're interested in getting these materials, in the video description, I'll leave you the link to your online store. Your supplies. We will be working with scissors and 8-stitch markers. This time, we are going to use two main needles, the 4mm and the 4.5mm. To weave in the yarn, we have a 3.5mm needle, or you can also use a yarn needle, measuring tape, a lighter or match, a personalized tag, and a magnetic clasp with spaces for sewing. And we will be working with 500 grams of Lures cord. This is a premium cord that has a 5mm strand, and this is an ochre, iridescent color. Look how beautiful it is. Let's start by working on the main structure of our bag. We are going to divide this into 3 parts. The first will be stitches with increases, the second, stitches without increases, and in the third part, stitches with decreases. I will be working these with a 4.5mm hook. We start by making 14 chains and then make a slip stitch. And we have 14 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14s. Here we have the 14 chains, and we will be working into chain number 13. That means number 14 is our turning chain, and it measures 9 centimeters long. We start the first row, turn the chain, and work on the back, where the bumps are. Here, we will make single crochets, 1 in each bump. Insert the hook under the second bump and make our first stitch here. 3, 5, 6, 7. 13, 14 yarn over and close the stitch. 15, 16, 17, 18. 22, 23, 24, 25, 32, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 32, 30, 41, 42, 43, 45, 50, 60, 53, 54, 56, 61, 62, 63, 63. 68, 70, 72, 72, 74, 75, 77, 78, 80, 92, 100. Complete the first round here, and we make a total of 13 stitches. Check 123,456,789, 10,111,213. Now we're going to make a turning chain, pull the piece, and start the second round. Here we're going to work single crochet, and we're going to do it by passing the hook under the entire chain, which means we go under the second chain. Here we make the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and here we do point number 13. We finish the second round, make a turning chain, and turn the piece. Now we work on round number 3. We pass the hook under the second chain and continue working. Single crochet until we complete all 13 stitches. We make the last stitch. And we finish the third row here. We have 12 and 3. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and now we're going to start row number 4. But here is where you will start making the increases. That means in this row, we're going to work 2 stitches in the first stitch and 2 stitches in the last stitch. Here we start by inserting the hook, not through the whole chain, but in the center, picking up the back loop. Here we make the first increase, then we do 11 single stitches. 11 base stitches, which means they don't have any increases. And in this last stitch, we make the increase of 2 stitches. We insert the hook under the second chain in the center. We yarn over, make the first stitch here, insert the hook again, and make the second stitch. Here we have the first increase. We work 11 single stitches here. You have to go through the center of the chain, picking up the yarn from the back. Let's make the last stitch. Here we work an increase, pass through again, and here we make the second one. We finish the fourth round here with a total of 15 stitches. Check 123,456,789,101,112,131,415. Now we're going to make a turning chain and turn the piece. Here we start round number 5. We are not going to work any increases. We are going to do round number 5 and number 6. With 15 base stitches, we insert the hook into the center of the second chain, taking the back loop. From now on, we will work into the back loop of the chain. We make a stitch in the center of the next one. Only single crochets until we complete 15 stitches. We make the last stitch here. And with this, we finish round number 5. We make a turning chain, turn the work, and now we're going to work round number 6. We continue with the same process. We insert the hook into the center of the second chain, picking up the top loop and make the first stitch. We continue working single crochet until we complete the 15 stitches. We reach the last 2 stitches. Make a single crochet and a single crochet in the last one. We finish here round number 6 with 15 stitches. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and here we are going to start round number 7, and in this one we will work increase. We will make an increase in the first stitch and an increase in the last stitch. In the center, we will work 13 base stitches. No, we insert the hook in the center of the second chain and make 2 stitches 1. Two. I finished the 13 stitches and I'll see you at the last increase. Complete the 13 base stitches. After the increase, we're going to work until the last one. Look here where you can see the last stitch. We go through the center of that chain and make 2.1 here. And 2. We make a turning chain and finish here. Row number 7 ends with a total of 17 stitches. We pull the piece and now we're going to work in row number 8 and number 9 without increases, finishing each row with 17 stitches. Complete row number 8 and number 9 with 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You have to work 3 rounds with single crochet, passing the needle under the entire loop. Starting from round number 4, we start the increases by working in the center of the chain, taking only the back loop. And look, this gives us a raised effect on the piece. So, here we have 123,456,789 rounds. Now we're going to work on round number 10. We make a chain stitch in the air, turn the piece, and start with an increase stitch in the first stitch. Working here, 15 base stitches and an increase stitch in the last stitch. So we do it in the second stitch. Because the first one is the turning chain, we go through the center, and here we make 2 stitches 1, 2. We complete 15 foundation stitches here, go through the center of the chain, and make a single crochet, keeping I completed the 15 foundation stitches here. After the increase, we're going to work here, the last one. We go through the center of the chain and make 2 stitches here, 1 and 2. We make a turning chain. I finished round number 10 with a total of 19 stitches. Now we're going to turn the piece and work rounds number 11 and 12 with 19 base stitches. Without making an increase, we go through the center of the second chain and make a single crochet in the center of the next one. We'll make the last stitch here. And we finish here. Round number 12, we work round number 11 without increases, and round number 12 without increases, with a total of 19 stitches. We make a turning chain here, turn the piece, and now we're going to work on round number 13. Here we will make an increase. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end, and in the center we will work 17 stitches. So we start by making the first increase, the 1, we go through again and make the second stitch here. Here we have the first increase. We're going to work 17 base stitches. I finished the 17 stitches without an increase. We're going to make the last one here. We insert the needle in the center of the stitch, make 1, insert the needle again, and complete the second increase here. We finish round number 13 here with a total of 21 stitches, make a turning chain, and now we're going to work rounds 14 and 15 with base stitches, finishing each round with 21 stitches. I finished round number 14 and number 15 with 21 base stitches. We don't work any increases. And look how our piece is turning out. Now we're going to make a turning chain. We pull and work the last round with an increase for this block, and this will be round number 16. Here we're going to work an increase at the beginning, an increase at the end, and in the base stitch we'll work 19 stitches. So we insert the needle in the center of the second chain and make the first increase here. We work the 19 base stitches. I finished the 19 base stitches. Now we'll work the last one here. We make 2 here as a turning chain. I finished row number 16. This is the last row. With increases, we work a total of 23 stitches. We make an increase at the beginning, 19 base stitches, and an increase at the end. We finish the first block of the piece, and look how it's turning out. Here we have 13 centimeters in height. Now let's work on the second part of the piece. In this part, we will only make single crochet stitches without any increases, and we'll do it over a base of 23 stitches. So here we already have the turning chain. We pull and insert the hook into the center of the second chain, making a single crochet. Here, we'll work one stitch in the center of each chain until we complete 23 stitches. Here, you can place a marker to know that this is where the first round without increases begins. Let's check the last stitch here. At this height, we finish round number 17 with 23 stitches pull the piece, and start round number 18, also working 23 stitches. Let's check this last stitch. At this height, we finish round number 18. We will continue working this way until we reach round number 35. Remember that we are working stitches without increases, and at the end of each round, we should have 23 stitches. I finished the 19 rounds without increases. I worked 23 stitches in each round, and in the piece, we have a total of 35 rounds. 16 rounds, with increases that we worked. In the first part, we placed the marker in round number 17. And here in the grooves, you can count by twos. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 6, 1, 8. And here where the marker is, number 19. This second part of the piece ended up measuring 14.5 centimeters. We place a marker on the first stitch of round number 35, so we know that's where the part ends. No increase. We start the decreases. We make a turning chain here, turn the piece, and we're going to work here. Like this. We insert the needle into the center of the second chain and into the center of the third chain. Then we make a decrease. We go through the center, yarn over and pull up a loop. Go through the center of the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Here we have the first decrease. We're going to work on this side. 19 stitches. Until you reach the last 2, I completed the 19 base stitches. Here we get to the last 2, and here we're going to make a decrease just like we did at the beginning of the row. We insert the needle into the center of the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert the needle into the center of the next one. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. We finish here row number 36 with a total of 21 stitches. We make a turning chain and turn the piece. And just like we did in the increased rows, after each decrease, we are going to work 2 rows with the base stitch that finishes the decrease row. In this case, we are going to work rows 37 and 38 with 21 stitches. We insert the hook into the center of the second chain and make a single crochet here. Then, in the center of the next one, another single crochet. And this way, we will work 1 stitch in the center of each chain until we reach the last one. Let's make the last stitch here. And with this, I finish round number 37. We have 21 stitches here. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and we're going to work round number 38 with 21 stitches. I finished round 38. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and here we are on round 39. We're going to make a decrease, 1 decrease at the beginning, 17 base stitches, and 1 decrease at the end. We make the first decrease, go through the center of the second chain, in the center of the next one. We complete 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and close the stitch. We work the 17 base stitches. We reach the last 2 stitches, and here we make the decrease. We have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all of them. Make a chain stitch and finish round number 39 here with 19 stitches. Please check, okay? Now we are going to work rounds number 40 and 41 with 19 stitches as the base. I'll see you in round number 42. I finished rounds 40 and 41 with 19 stitches as the base. Here we make a turning chain, turn the piece, and now we're going to work on round number 42. Here we make a decrease at the beginning and one at the end. We have 3 loops on the hook, we close them, and here we finish. For the first decrease, we work 15 base stitches here. Before reaching the last 2 chains, when you get to the last 2 stitches, we make the final decrease. Add the air. And I finished round number 42 here with 17 stitches. Now we're going to work rounds 43 and 44 with 17 base stitches. I completed rounds 43 and 44 with 17 base stitches. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and now we're going to work round 45. Here, we'll make a decrease at the beginning and one at the end. Here we make the first decrease. We work 13 base stitches, and we're going to make the last decrease. We finish round 45 here with 15 stitches. Please check, okay? Now we're going to work rounds 46 and 47 with 15 base stitches. I finished rounds 46 and 47 with 15 base stitches. We make a turning chain, and here we're going to work round 48. This will be the last round. With a decrease, we do one at the beginning. We work 11 base stitches. We make the last decrease here. Chain stitch. I finished row 48 with 13 stitches. Please check. Remember that this is the last row with a decrease. Now we're going to work 3 rows with single crochet. Remember that at the beginning, before the first increase, we did 3 rows with single crochet. So to make the piece the same as at the beginning, we're going to work row 49. We're going to do this by inserting the hook into the center of the chain, just as we've been doing. And here I'm going to complete the 13 stitches. I finished row 49 with 13 stitches. We make a turning chain. Now we're going to work row 50, and here we're going to pass the hook under the entire chain. We'll go under the whole chain instead of through the center. We start the first stitch. We go under the next one. We complete 13 stitches here. I finished row 50 with 13 stitches, and we start. Chain 1, and now we're going to work on row number 51. We go under the second chain. Notice that we're working under the entire chain. We make the last stitch here. And with this, we finish round number 51. Look at how our piece turned out. We've already finished the main base of our bag. This is how yours should be looking. We worked a total of 51 rounds. We did 16 rounds, increasing, 19 rounds with the base stitch, and 16 rounds decreasing. It ended up being 43 centimeters long, 17 centimeters wide, and 10 centimeters at the ends. The next thing we're going to do is work around the edge of the piece, completing each end. We make 51 stitches this time. We're going to use single crochet. We position ourselves here at the last stitch of row 51. Notice that we haven't made a turning chain here. We place a marker here to know that this is the first of the 51 stitches. Now we're going to work on this side using single crochet. We pass the needle here under these first 2 strands. Notice that next to it we have Atheris hiri. We pass it under the 1, under the 2 strands, under the little ridge. We pass the needle under the first 2 strands. Under the little ridge. Under the first 2 strands. Under the little ridge. This is how our stitches are turning out. Let's keep working until we reach the last stitch here. I worked all the way around, and now I've reached the last 2 strands, which belong to the first round. Here, I'm going to make stitch number 50. And to complete the 51 stitches, we need to position ourselves here where the 13 starting stitches are, and we're going to pass the needle under the first chain. We pass the needle through and make stitch number 51 here. We place a marker at this point. And here, we're going to cut the yarn. Whenever you cut, always burn it a little to seal it. What are we going to do? Now, we're going to complete the outline on this side. We start here at the initial 13 stitches. Notice that we haven't changed these. In this last stitch, we pass the needle through. Here we yarn over. And we make the first stitch of number 51. This will be part of the outline. We place a marker in this stitch. We continue working on this side. Here we are going to pass the needle under these 2 strands. We also use this chance to hide the leftover strand. Here we have the first 2 stitches. We pass under the little bump. Under the 2 strands. Under the little bump. Under the 2 strands. Under the strands. Look, it's the same process. We continue making a single crochet all along the edge until we get here to the last 2 strands. I've completed the stitches. Now, we're going to make number 50 here. Look, these are the last 2 strands. We make the stitch here. And number 51, we're going to make it here where the initial 13 stitches are. Look, here's the first stitch. We go under the chain and make stitch number 51 right there. In this last one, we place a marker. We finish the second round. Please check that you have 51 stitches. Now we're going to work on the handle. This will be a hand handle, and we'll make it with 30 chains. If you want to make the handle longer, you can work 40, 50, or 60, depending on the length you want to give it. So, here we have a loop on the hook. We make the first chain like this until we complete 30. I finished the 30 chains. See that they're not too loose? And they measure 20 centimeters. We're going to close at the point where the marker is. On this side, make sure the chain is facing the right way. We remove the marker and make a slip stitch here. We fake the height at the level of the loop that's on the hook and close at this slip stitch. Then place the marker again. Look how the handle turned out. We're going to work on this side, making a round with slip stitches all along the edge, passing the needle under the entire chain. We yarn over, bring it up to the height of the little loop on the hook, and here we slip stitch. We go under the next one, yarn over, bring it up, and slip stitch under the next one. We'll make the final stitch where the marker is. I finished the slip stitches on this side. Now we're going to work the 30 chains here. I finished the 30 chains. Make sure it also measures 20 centimeters. Now we're going to close it. We go under the chain and make a slip stitch. We place the marker here again. Now we're going to complete the slip stitches all along this edge. As we work this side until we reach the point where the marker is, we make the stitch where the marker is. I finished the slip stitches. Look how they look here. We worked from this marker to this one, 51 stitches made, 30 chains, 51 stitches, 30 chains. Now, what we're going to do is make a round all along the edge with single crochet, and here on the sleeve we're going to do it. See here, we have each complete row. We're going to insert the needle in the center, picking up the bottom loop, this one here, and we're going to make the stitch on top of these two loops that remain. So you insert the needle, picking up the bottom loop. And on top, you make the stitch over these two, then bring the bottom loop over here. Notice that we haven't closed off here. We're working continuously. We yarn over. We lift it to the height of the small loop on the hook. And here we make the first stitch. We go over here, grab the bottom strand, and make the stitch here. In the next one, we make the stitch here. Here we have the last stitch left. We finished the stitches on the sleeve. Please check that you have 30. Look how it's turning out. On this side, we are going to continue with single crochet. We remove the marker. We are going to make these stitches in the center of the chain. Look here. And it should come out here at the back. We go into the center and come out on this side. We make the first one here. We are in the center of the chain. We place a marker We go through the center of the next chain. We make the single crochet here. The center of the next one. We reach the last stitch. We remove the marker. We go through the center. We make a stitch here. We place the marker again. And here on the sleeve, we are going to follow the previous process. We pass the needle, taking the bottom strand and making a single crochet. In the next one, the bottom strand. And here, single crochet. Complete. On this side, the 30 stitches on the cuff are worked in single crochet in the center of the chain. And I'll see you here at the stitch before the marker. When you reach the stitch before the marker, here we'll make the last one. We remove the marker, insert the needle into the center of the chain, and make a single crochet. We place it again. I finished the round with single crochet, and look how the piece looks here. I worked all along the edge. A total of 162 stitches, and it measures 58 centimeters. If you want to work on this project with another material, of course you can do it. The measurements will change depending on the thickness. If you want to make it with t-shirt yarn, you can work with a feather type t-shirt yarn, which is quite light and with a strand that doesn't exceed 2.5. That way, the project won't turn out too big. I made this project a little smaller for those who can or want to make it with t-shirt yarn, so you can make it and the bag won't look excessively large. I want you to pay close attention to the next process, because here we are going to start the rounds with puff stitch. The first thing we're going to do is switch from the 4.5 mm hook to the 4 mm hook. Why are we making this change? Because we want our stitches to be well structured. Remember that they are going to be part of the handle, and we want it to be nice and firm. So here, look, we have a little loop on the hook, and here is where the stitches on the handle begin. We start the first stitch here. This one will be a single crochet, and in the previous one, we made the puff stitch. We are going to work these stitches 2 by 2, so here we make a single crochet. And in the previous one, the one we left behind, we make the puff stitch. We yarn over. We go under that chain. We yarn over. We lift up, yarn over again, and go through that stitch. We lift up. We're going to repeat this process 3 times. We've done it twice so far. Yarn over again and insert the needle in the same stitch. Always making sure the yarn is nice and straight, both in the front and in the back. So here we've completed the 3 stitches. See, we have 3 loops in the front, and in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on the hook. Here we yarn over, and we're going to pull through all of them. We tighten it a little bit. Here we don't close the stitch. So look, in this previous stitch is where we made the single crochet, and here we have a free chain. We work into the next one, we count 1, and in the second one we make a single crochet, look, and 2, we make a single crochet here. We give it a little bit of height, and here we close the stitch. Look how this stitch turns out. And on the back, the threads are well organized. So, in the stitch we left free, look here, we're going to make the puff stitch. We place the yarn on the needle. We go under that chain. We lift up, yarn over, and go through again. We lift up, yarn over, and go through again. Here, we lift up. Make sure the stitches are well arranged, yarn over, and we're going to go through all of them. To close the stitch. After this stitch, count 1, and in the second one, make a single crochet. In the previous stitch, notice it's the one in the center. We make a puff stitch again. We go under the chain and raise it to the height of the loop that's on the hook. Yarn over and pull through again. Here, let's make sure they're well organized. Yarn over and close the stitch. We repeat the process. We count after the stitch where we made the single crochet. 1 and 2. We make another single crochet in the second one. In the remaining stitch, we make a puff stitch. Notice that to keep my stitches straight and well organized, I'm not making them too tall, but rather I'm keeping them at the level of the little loop that's on the hook. This will be the measurement for all the stitches. We place the yarn. We pass it through again. Look, here I set the height. At the level of the previous stitches, I take the yarn. And here I go through all of them. That's how the stitch looks. I make a single crochet in the second chain. And this is the whole process we're going to do. We work until we get to the stitch where the marker is. We're almost at the stitch where the marker is. We're going to work the last 2 stitches. And look here at how our stitches are turning out. Puff. Look how beautiful they are. Here we skip this stitch, and in the next one, we make a single crochet. Here in the previous stitch, we make a puff stitch. We arrange the yarns and close the stitch. We finished the stitches of the cuff, and here we worked a total of 15 stitches. Now let's continue. On this side, we remove the marker. And in the next stitch, we make a single crochet. Look, the stitch where the marker is corresponds to a puff stitch. We yarn over. We go under the chain. And we make the stitch there. We go under. And we close the stitch. And since this stitch corresponds to the mark stitch, we place the marker there again. That means this is the first stitch of the 51 stitches. So now we're going to continue the process by repeating single crochet, and in the previous puff stitch, single crochet, and in the previous puff stitch. I'm already finishing this first row of puff stitch. And look how they appear here on the cuff. See how they're nice and tight, well organized? On the back, they're also organized. And now look at how they turned out on this side. Here, we're going to make the last stitch, just to finish it off. See here, we have 2 stitches left, the stitch before the marker and the stitch where the marker is. Here, where the next marker is where we make the first puff stitch to start the round. So, what are we going to do here where the marker is? We're going to make a single crochet, and in the previous stitch, we'll make a puff stitch. We remove the marker. We insert the hook into the second stitch where the marker was and make a single crochet. In the previous stitch, look here where you can see it, we make the last stitch where here we yarn over and close. We're going to finish off. We give height to this little ear, and we're going to go through here. Look, this is the chain of the puff stitch. Look at the one right down here. Look here. This is the first one. Look, there's this one, and then comes the puff stitch. We're going to pass the needle from the back of this chain. We grab the yarn. We go to the back. We tighten it very well. It should be nice and tight. Make sure the stitch fits into the other one. See how they fit together here. So, we're going to close this little ear by pulling the back strand here. We're going to pass the needle underneath. Now, under the strand we've taken to the back. See, it's this one. We go underneath, place the little ear on the needle, adjust it here very well. We take the yarn and go through both. We adjust the stitch very well. And here, look, we have the little ear in the hook. We take the yarn and make a stitch. So, with this, we have finished the first round with puff stitch. Look at how the piece looks. We worked a total of 81 stitches. Now we're going to work the second round. Let's turn the piece. And let's begin. Here, look where you can see the first chain, and on this side, the second one. We follow the same process. We insert the needle here. In the second chain, we make a single crochet, and in the previous one, which is this one, we make a puff stitch. Single crochet, and in the previous one, puff stitch. We place the yarn on the needle, pass it underneath. We go there again. We complete the 3 loops here. We yarn over and close the first stitch. In this first stitch, we place the marker to know that's where the first stitch begins. Now we continue the sequence on this side, but here it's going to be much easier, because right here where you see the space, we're going to make a single crochet. And in the previous stitch, which is the one on top of the puff stitch, we make a puff stitch, here a single crochet, then this puff stitch, and here a single crochet. And in the one that's on top of the previous puff stitch, we make a puff stitch. Here and here. See how it's much easier to identify the spaces. We make a single crochet here. And here, the puff stitch. we make a single crochet. And here below, a puff stitch. We arrange the yarn very well. Single crochet. And in the previous puff stitch, see how beautiful the braiding looks. That's why it's important to organize the stitch. Because look, on this side, the stitch is already coming out in reverse. And here, which is the right side of the bag, look, the puff stitch is in reverse. So it's important that as you go along, you organize both the front and the back. It should look this neat and well organized. To finish the second round, we're going to work the last stitch here. This would be stitch 80. And here we can see that we have one stitch left over above the puff stitch from the previous round. And in this space is where we make the closure. Look, right here where you can see it, in this one we're going to work the single crochet, and here we'll make the puff stitch. Look now, this is how the closure would look here. So what are we going to do? Here we cut the yarn, and here the yarn, we cut the yarn here. We remove the marker and pass the needle through. Under the stitch where the marker was, from back to front. And like this. We just anchored the yarn. Sequence and we go back. We adjust. We pass the needle through the center. Of the last chain, look here, the one that stays on top of the puff stitch. We yarn over and take it to the back. We tighten this stitch very well. We arrange the stitches here very well. And look here at how the closure is turning out. This leftover yarn. We'll put it here under the stitches. Here we check that the chain is the same size as the others, so that the closure isn't noticeable. Here we're going to burn. Here I show you how the closure looks and how the second round of stitches turned out. Wow! Look how it looks. This is the back, and look here on the right side. How beautiful it turns out. The stitches are well organized. Look how tight they are. If you happen to see a stitch that's open or not well organized, take a needle and use the back part to go under the threads and adjust it like this. So you might ask, Mari, why can't I get the stitch right? Why doesn't it look like yours? Why do my threads come apart? Well, if the threads of the stitch come apart, it's because the stitch is too loose. Always try to keep it nice and tight so the threads stay close together and don't separate. And that way, they'll keep a really good structure. So, here where we made the closing stitch, look, right here, in this chain. We're going to place the marker, making sure first that from this marker, counting after the marker all along the edge. Let's keep the 30 stitches. So here is where stitch 51 starts. From this marker to this one, we should have 51 stitches on each side. We've completed the whole process of the piece. Look how it looks. The structure is finished, the stitches, everything is well organized. We also placed the markers very well. And here, after each marker, on each sleeve we have 30 stitches. And counting from one marker to the other, on each side we should have 51 stitches. In total, we worked 81 stitches. The finished puff measures 57 centimeters wide and 26 centimeters. Now we're going to work on the sides. Take the piece, fold it in half so that one marker is facing the other, just like this. And we're going to count 20 stitches here, starting where the marker is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Place a marker here. After that marker, we're going to count 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These 11 stitches will be left free. Place the marker in the stitch right after this marker. At this point, we should have 20 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We do the same process on the other side. To work on the sides, we're going to use the 4.5 millimeter hook, and here we start by making a slip knot. Now we will crochet 12 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 4, 1, 5, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 8, 3, 9, 4, 0, 4, 2, 4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 9, 55, 3, 5, 4, 55, 56, 57, 66, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 66, 66, 69, 7, 3, 7, 4, 76, 78, 79, 88, 1, 8, 2, 8, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 23, 24. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 36, 52, 53. 30, 34, 35, 39, 40, 42, 51, 52, 53. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 66, 68, 69, 72, 73, 77, 78. The needle goes under the entire chain stitch here. 80. 82. 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 100, 100, 100, 92, 92 each chain. Until completing the 11, I finished the 11 stitches. 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 98. 99, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 26, 29, 30, 32, 36, 36. We go under the second chain and make a stitch under the next one. I make the last stitch here, go through the center, and finish with a single crochet. So here we finished round number 4 with 11 stitches. We pull the piece and from now on work until round number 19, inserting the needle in the center of the chain. I completed the 19 rounds. We worked the first 3 with single crochet, and from the 4th round on, we inserted the stitch in the center of the chain, forming these ridges on the side. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9. With a base of 11 stitches for round number 20, we will finish this by making a border with single crochet to give this piece a better finish. So let's position ourselves here. Notice that I haven't made a turning chain. I insert the hook at the base of the last stitch, here, and I insert the hook and make a single crochet here. Single crochet. This will be the marker at stitch number 20 on this side. Thank you. We work a single crochet here, insert the hook into this ridge, right here underneath. We make a stitch here, right where these 2 loops are. Here under the ridge, under the 2 loops, we go underneath. Look, here we have stitch number 1, which belongs to this round, and stitch number 2 belongs to the next round. We go under the ridge and make a single crochet here, under the 2 loops. Here under the 2 loops. Here under these 2 loops, we're going to make stitch number 19. Look, here from the marker, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. To complete stitch 20 here, we have the initial slip stitch, and on this side, the 11 base stitches begin. So what are we going to do? We are going to pass the needle under the first chain that's right here on top, and there we are going to make stitch number 20. This stitch corresponds to this side, and we place a marker here. Now we are going to work the 11 stitches. We make the first one under the first chain. Where we made the previous stitch, we go through that same space and make a stitch here. Here in the next one, under the whole chain. We are going to work 1 stitch until we get here to the last one. We make the last stitch here. To complete the 11, check after the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we are going to work the 20 stitches on this side, and we are going to insert the needle in the same space or in the same stitch where we worked the last one. Here. We make the first stitch here, right under the 2 strands. We make the next one. Here, under the little bump. This way, we're going to work the stitches all along the edge until we get here, completing stitch number 19. We're going to make the last stitch here under these 2 strands. See, this is the last row. This would be stitch number 19. We go underneath and make the stitch. So here from the mark stitch, where we made the first one on this side, we have 19 stitches here. And to complete stitch number 20, we're going to pass the needle under the first stitch of those up here. We pass the needle through and make the stitch here. With this stitch, we have finished our side and we have a total of 51 stitches. Please check. With this stitch, we complete the 20 on the side, 11 stitches at the base, and 20 stitches on this side for a total of 51 stitches. Look, with this row we complete the 20 in height and now we have the piece ready. I'm going to give you the measurements. In height we have 16 centimeters and in width 9.5 centimeters. When finishing the side, we cut a strand of 2.5 meters for the seam and work on the next side, just like this one. I've already finished the other side. Look how they turned out here. We put one on top of the other and see that they have the same number of stitches and the same measurements. I also took the opportunity to leave the strand for the seam. We're going to sew the first side. We take the piece. Look, here we have the stitches on the right side. We check, and we're going to do the seam with the piece inside out. So here we arrange everything carefully, lining up the stitches. We also take the piece with the stitches inside out, so it matches. This way, we have the seam on the inside on this side, and the piece as well. Both right sides should be facing inward. We arrange it here on this side. We lift up this little ear and pass it under the mark stitch, then remove the marker here. We pass the needle through, grab the yarn. Here, we tighten it very well, and we're going to make a stitch here. Now we turn the piece and we'll work. Slip stitch, passing the needle under the entire chain on this side and the one that's on top. Here. Here one stitch should fit right in front of the other. So here we pass the needle under this stitch. And from the chain that's in front, we yarn over. And on this side, we have 2 loops on the hook. We slip. We pass the hook under the next chain and the one in front. We slip under the next one. We arrive here at the mark stitch. We continue working all along the edge until we get here to the stitch before the marker. I finish the seam on this side, reaching here at the stitch before the marker. Look, here we have one stitch in front of the other. We slip stitch there, remove the markers, and make the last stitch here. We pull through here. We make the last stitch here. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip here. We're going to make a stitch just like we did at the beginning. We pull out the yarn and tighten it very well. And we're going to hide this leftover yarn at the bottom. This way, you hide the yarn. On the next side, I'll show you how to start sewing the next side. Place the side with the right side facing in, arrange it here, and pass the little ear through the stitch where the marker is. Tighten this stitch very well and make a stitch here. Look at the piece. Arrange it very well here so that one stitch is facing the other and pass the needle through. Here, under the first chain stitch. And the one that's in front. Make a slip stitch here, go under the next one, yarn over and slip under the next one, yarn over and slip. Here on this side. This is how you will continue working slip stitches until you reach the last stitch here. We reach the last marker, we make the stitch here. We pass it to the front here. We slide and make a stitch. We tighten it very well there, pull out the yarn, and hide it under the stitches, just like we did before. I finished both seams. Look how they turned out here on this side. I also hid the yarn at the bottom of the stitches, and this is how it looks. The bag inside out, look how it looks. You can also show it off this way. It looks really pretty. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to turn the bag right side out. Here, we need to arrange the stitches very well. This is how our bag looks right side out. Look at all the details. How the braided stitches look. The puff, here on the sides, the seam. Look how pretty the handle is. See how the braid turned out nice and firm. Notice that it's a bag with a very good structure. Here, look at the base and how it looks. And on the inside, see how spacious it turned out. Now we're going to attach the magnetic clasp. First, place the rough part and position it in the center. Here, you can use either side as the right side. See how both sides turned out very pretty, don't you think? Place the piece here on the back, underneath the first round. Right underneath. You need to make sure it's centered. And with the help of a needle and nylon thread, you're going to sew from the inside out 3 times in each space until the clasp is nice and secure. When you finish that process, you're going to place the other part of the clasp on top. Adjust the piece so the bag is nice and centered, pass the clasp through this side, and here you repeat the same process. I've already finished attaching the clasp. The bag ended up with some measurements. Here at the top, it's 26 centimeters. Here at the base, it's 30 centimeters. And in the center of the bag, it's 17 centimeters. The bag ended up weighing 390 grams. This is all the material left from the 500-gram skein. We can use it to complement an accessory for our bag. We've reached the end of the class. Thank you for staying with me until now. I hope you enjoyed the process and that you put it into practice. If so, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a token of appreciation. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so YouTube can let you know. Every time we upload a new tutorial video, we'll see each other in the next class. God bless you. Bye.